Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Have you ever looked around and felt like the world is dumbing down? Not just in the memes, the headlines, or the endless distractions, but in the very way people think, act, and value things? Like intelligence, depth, and wisdom are slowly suffocating, while ignorance, arrogance, and noise are rewarded louder than ever. If you felt that, you're not alone. And here's the haunting truth. Every great civilization, every empire, every golden age, every society that once seemed invincible, eventually collapses into its own form of idiocracy. Not because enemies conquered them, not because nature destroyed them, but because they chose it. They chose decline, disguised as progress. They chose noise, disguised as freedom. They chose comfort, disguised as happiness. And if we're honest, maybe we are choosing it too. Plato once warned that democracy, the system most people today see as the pinnacle of civilization, always ends the same way, with chaos, disorder, and the rise of tyranny. Why? Because when every voice is given equal weight, it doesn't take long before the loudest, not the wisest, take control. Before people stop asking, who is right, and start asking instead, who sounds right? It's terrifying, isn't it? To think that what makes us proud, our freedoms, our openness, our abundance of choice, might also be the seeds of our undoing. But history whispers this pattern again and again. Rome was not destroyed by a single enemy army, but by decadence, corruption, and an elite class so disconnected from reality that bread and circuses replaced purpose and meaning. The great Islamic Golden Age dimmed not because knowledge was lost, but because dogma smothered curiosity. The Renaissance burned bright until greed, war, and shallow vanity devoured the very values that birthed it. It's the same pattern. A society rises with vision, discipline, and struggle. It peaks with genius and innovation. And then, when it becomes too comfortable, too proud, too intoxicated by its own success, decay sets in. You've seen it in your own life too, haven't you? Think about the moments you've been most alive, the moments that shaped you. Were they easy? Or were they struggles, nights of doubt, battles you had to fight, fears you had to face? Now compare that to the days lost to distraction, scrolling endlessly, sinking into comfort. Those days didn't destroy you all at once, but slowly, invisibly. Civilizations are no different. They thrive in struggle. They rot in comfort. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the theologian who resisted the Nazis, wrote something chilling. Stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. Malice you can resist. Stupidity, collective stupidity, has no defense because it spreads like a virus. It dresses itself up as common sense, as the will of the people, as the obvious thing everyone believes. And once stupidity rules, intelligence becomes dangerous. To be thoughtful becomes subversive. And when that happens, when fools rise to power and the wise are silenced, that's when civilizations tip into idiocracy. Here's the twist. It never feels like collapse while it's happening. It feels like freedom. It feels like progress. It feels like equality. But look closer. Scroll through your feed. Watch the debates that pass for leadership. See how truth is no longer measured by reality, but by virality. Notice how those who dare to ask deeper questions are mocked, while those who shout empty slogans are celebrated. Nietzsche called this the transvaluation of values. The moment when what was once seen as strength becomes weakness, and what was once seen as weakness becomes virtue. In such a world, intelligence is arrogance, ignorance is authenticity, and entertainment is wisdom. And slowly, almost beautifully, the very pillars of civilization crumble, not from an external attack, but from within, like termites hollowing out wood. Think about the Roman Colosseums. Imagine being a philosopher in Rome's final centuries. You write about ethics, justice, virtue, but outside, crowds roar for blood, cheering the slaughter of slaves and gladiators. Who do you think history listened to, the philosopher or the mob? Now think about us. What do we cheer for today? What fills our Colosseums? What trends? What goes viral? What captures millions of eyes? Is it wisdom or is it spectacle? We laugh at ancient Rome for being so blind, but maybe the truth is that they were a mirror. and we just refuse to see the reflection. Here's an even more disturbing question. What if idiocracy isn't just a failure? What if it's the natural outcome? Machiavelli knew this. He wrote that corruption isn't an accident, but the inevitable price of wealth and success. Once people taste comfort, they lose discipline. Once they lose discipline, they lose vision. And without vision, they're easy prey for liars, tyrants, and fools. It's not that civilizations might fall to idiocracy. It's that they almost always do, because deep down most people don't want truth. They want comfort. They don't want wisdom. They want reassurance. They don't want freedom in the real, terrifying sense. They want someone else to take responsibility while they enjoy the illusion of choice. Idiocracy isn't forced on us. It's chosen, again and again and again. So where does that leave us? Maybe you're sitting there thinking, yes, people are dumb, society is corrupt, everything is broken. But the danger of thinking that way is this: it turns the spotlight outward, when the truth is, it starts with us. Idiocracy begins not in governments or empires, but in daily choices. In the little moments we trade depth for distraction, wisdom for entertainment, struggle for comfort. It grows when we stop reading, stop questioning, stop wrestling with truth because it's easier to drown in noise. And yet, here's the hope. If stupidity is contagious, so is wisdom. If ignorance spreads like a virus, so can depth, discipline, courage, and vision. History may repeat, but individuals can break patterns. Civilizations may rot, but individuals can rise. The question is, will we? Will you? Because one day, centuries from now, people will look back at us the way we look back at Rome, Athens, or Babylon. They'll ask, how did such a brilliant civilization collapse into mediocrity? How did they squander so much potential? And maybe, just maybe, someone will answer, they didn't. Because a few people chose differently. Because some refused the comfort of idiocracy. Because enough voices stayed awake when everyone else fell asleep. Maybe that's the only way civilizations survive, not through governments or kings or systems, but through individuals who refuse to let stupidity win. So, the question isn't whether civilizations fall to idiocracy. History has already given us that answer. The real question is whether you will, and that is the pattern we never see coming.